I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
Conversate with Us Radio presents the Man Listen Show. We are the blackest radio show on the internet. We bring you our opinion on topics that affect the Black community in an effort to enlighten, enrich, and empower every brother and sister that falls under the sound of our voice. We operate on a no-hating frequency, so be prepared for us to keep it 100% real and 100% black all the time. Please follow the show on Facebook, Instagram. I'm gonna say the social media platform we don't support. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Man Listen Show. Go to our YouTube account, click that bell icon so you can be notified of upcoming episodes. And make sure you tell a friend about the blackest radio show on the internet, the Man Listen Show. I'm your host, Mar B. Let's bring the crew in. So I think that, I've always said we're stronger when we're together, right? And if it is put just on one person, they can isolate that person, they can punish that person and make an example of that person. And just like they used to do our ancestors back on the plantations. They did that with Brother Sherrills, they did that with Colin Kaepernick, right? And let's just go back to Kaepernick's boycott and how the NFL ostracized him and blackballed him, whiteballed him. If the players who made up the majority of the league, the black players, would have stood behind him and said, hey, we're not going to play unless you treat our brother fairly, right? Because at the time that he had, stopped playing, he was still better than a lot of other quarterbacks that were on the roster. So he should have had a roster spot based on his talent and his ability to play football. If the players had stood up, it wouldn't have been a question. And I understand that there is a healthy level of fear that a lot of us have when it comes to our livelihood and, the decisions that we need to make to, support ourselves, support our families. We make business decisions all the time. And I'll be sitting here lying and saying, if I don't make business decisions all the time when I go to work, right? There's plenty of things that I want to say. There's plenty of things that, as much as I say on this show, there's plenty of things that I don't say because, okay, what if somebody sees this and then it affects me on my job? So I understand not wanting to jeopardize your livelihood and the money that these players can make. But here's the thing. If you are a 5-star recruit, 4-star recruit that has the ability to play at Alabama, LSU, South Carolina, USC, whatever, you could go to another school and make the same amount of NIL money and get the same opportunity outside of those I hate black people states. You can. And if enough of the players were able to do that, then it can make it. It would make a difference. It's the same thing with athletics as it is with sports. We are the product. We don't really need them. They need us. But we concede our power. And a lot of times you say, well, it's not right to put this on young people. Have you looked at how old Fred Hampton was when he was leading the Panthers in Chicago? He was in his early 20s doing that. A lot of our ancestors, it was SNCC, all those organizations, they were in their early 20s, teenagers.
College kids, all of them.
College kids standing up for what's right. So we got too many people who are putting their fear on these young people. And the reality is this. These dudes transfer schools all the time. They'll transfer to a new university if their position coach changes. They'll transfer to a new university if the coach changed the system and I'm not getting highlighted as much, so I'm gonna go to this system over here. You're not gonna transfer for your rights, your voting rights, because like they said, these institutions like Alabama, the coaches, all these people, they're paid by the state. Yeah. So I just have an issue with people trying to say it's not fair to ask young people to do this when at some point you got to stand for something. And then I'll let y'all talk. You saw where Trump and his administration, they're trying to input legislation to curtail all this NIL money that these athletes are given. They're trying to stop it. They're trying to put it into it. They're trying to get more control over it because at the end of the day, they want to punish Black people. They don't want anything for us that'll benefit us and not them. And they'll do without to make sure that it punishes us. So you better stand up for something. And that's what I feel like these athletes should be doing.
So two things. One, if I can tell you the number of times that my child asked me for permission to do things, we cannot pretend that these children, these student athletes, are making these decisions on their own without influences from their parents and their community at home. These are the same people that are talking about votes don't matter. Don't do that. Look out for yourself. We got to understand that these people who have been raised, especially people who put a huge emphasis on athletics to get out of their current financial situation, and they're not just banking on everybody's putting in on you in this sports program so that you can get the whole family out. It's not just about you. It's not just about your plan. So they're not even allowing these children to make these decisions based off of what they think is right or what they think they should be doing next. So I don't think it's fair to say that these children are just being able to make these decisions of their own free will. I think their families
They
are
do all
also
the time.
influencing them.
You ain't raised young people.
Yes,
You got teenagers and 20
they
somethings.
still ask
Yes,
me for
at the end,
permission to do stuff all the time.
and at the end, they ask for permission when they need your support on it. But when they don't need your damn support, they do what they want to do.
Yes, if you raise them that way.
And guess what? These kids is making NIL money. A majority of them are making more money than their parents. So
Yes,
guess who's
but
really
you can't
calling the shots? Guess
No,
who's
you
really calling the
cannot
shots?
pretend that
I think
these children were raised to just say forget whatever their parents are saying and do whatever they want. They're not raised that way.
right, and also,
You're
Rika, you
mistaken
said
now.
their
Because it's not
parents are
about disrespect. It's about, listen, I can do what I want to do. I'm
right.
not in
You
your
can.
house anymore. When I'm in your
That's true.
house, if
That
I'm sleeping in your bed under your roof, then I got this 2 year rules. But when I'm way at college, we had to respect our parents because there's a general level of respect. But also, hey, mom, I need some gas money. So there comes some control, a level of guidance and direction with that. But if you got a young man that's making $250,000, right? He's
Yeah,
probably paying his mama's rent, mortgage, or whatever. Shit, he
and
ain't
let me
got
tell
to
you what
listen
you're
to
not
her.
gonna do. And let me tell you
no,
what you're not gonna
exactly,
do. Let me
exactly.
tell you what you're not gonna do. Tell me anything. I birthed you. You came out of me. So
It sounds
yes, you
good.
will
That
defer
sounds
to
good.
me.
That sounds good.
No, but see, so I think we're kind of viewing it inaccurately. Also, though, talking about the parents didn't raise them this way. No, the parents raised them to be that way, to where they're selfish. If we look at, and I hate to go on a soapbox, I've talked about this many a times before. These are parents who basically said, F the rest of a lot of them, forget the rest of the Black community. I gained a little financial independence and I'm leaving. And so you're asking your kid you didn't instill that in your kid, and so you're asking them to do something that you never did. So that these aren't the same kids as a Fred Hampton. These aren't the Stokely Carmichael kids. These aren't kids who grew up in that. These are kids who, by and large part, grew up under a different parents who had a different attitude. It was, yeah, what's the hood, what's the Black community is bad, so we're going to leave that. We're not going to stay there, and so you're asking them to change midstream. It's kind of tough, because and even the ones that maybe say weren't financially stable, guess what? They still went to high school at a lot of non-Black high schools, whether they're the Catholic, the Jesuit, the Christian, the Country Day Academies, all of that. And so they're already knee deep, waist deep in that society, in that world, and ask him to change midstream is asking a lot. Now, again, there are some people who could do it, but I wouldn't be disappointed if a child did not do that, is what I'm saying.
Indoctrinated.
I think you made a good point in the type of kid that is on this D1 level, on this level of D1. Back in the day, we had Jim Brown, Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They came up, and we said this before, they came up in that generation where we got.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these athletes, A lot, not
Not
all.
just athletes. I wouldn't put it on
A
athletes,
lot,
but yeah.
Not these
a lot,
children.
not all are raised to be entitled and raised with the end goal to be, hey, listen, it's time for me to cash in
Mhm.
on all this investment, like you said, Lab, into my athletics, the private training, the weekends that you've given up for basketball tournaments, 707 tournaments, whatever, whatever.
Mhm.
And you couple that with that this is also the TikTok generation that learns from social media and doesn't want to say, hey, oh, Republicans, Democrats, same thing, they're all bad. No, the fuck they're not.
Yeah.
And you see that now. And I have one of mine that kept saying that. So yeah, but they're all politicians, they're bad. So then when I finally said, hey, listen, you see how they're taking away your voting rights? You see how they're coming for you? Do you still think they're all the same and they're all bad? Do you still think that? And all they could do is sit there and look stupid.
Mhm.
So I think the major problem is it is the parents. It is the people our age. And it's the influence that they refuse to have on their children. Now, I still maintain that if your child is making, that NIL money, that real NIL money, a lot of them, especially the basketball players, they're making, if they're smart about it, they're making money that can change not only their lives, but
Yeah.
the generations after them if they invested wisely. A lot of them, they are making probably close to what they would make like as a first year player in the NBA or the NFL.
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
Yeah,
playing,
that's why they're staying there longer
just
because some
playing
of
there.
yeah.
So it is
Yeah.
a lot. But what I'm saying though is that if we had enough of us who are
Mhm.
unified to say, hey, listen, I don't have to go to Alabama. I could go to
Yep.
Michigan. I could go to Ohio State. I could go to
Mhm.
any other school because I'm telling you, I had a kid that was recruited. You don't get most people don't just get recruited by one school.
Right.
If you make it to the point where one top school is recruiting you, there's a whole line of
Yeah.
coaches and
Mhm.
recruiters coming to your household. Don't
Yeah.
so let's not make it seem like, oh man, I'm just giving up my one opportunity. They got the pick of the litter.
Right. Mhm.
Now, if they want to say, I want to stay close to home, I'm from Louisiana, so I want to play LSU, so my people can come and watch me play or some shit like that. Yeah, I mean, but at some point, man, at some point, at some point, we got to inconvenience ourselves to move ourselves ahead.